I know what you guys are probably thinking right now. What the hell is this idiot talking about? Well, perhaps I'm just over speculating, and perhaps I am an idiot, but even still, it's hard to deny that there's some pretty significant evidence another Fallout game is going to be announced this year and released sometime next year. So in this video, I'm going to be telling you guys why I think Fallout New Orleans is going to be released in 2017. Also, just to clarify, when I say Fallout 4 sequel in the title, I don't mean this game will literally be a direct sequel to Fallout 4 in the same sense that Fallout 4 was a direct sequel to Fallout 3. Instead, it's gonna be more akin to what New Vegas was to Fallout 3, and thus will not be a direct sequel. Anyways, let's go ahead and get straight into this, and first of all, I just want to clear something up for those of you who aren't as familiar with the Fallout franchise. Fallout New Vegas was not made by Bethesda Game Studios. Instead, it was made by Obsidian Entertainment, which is a different company made up mostly of people from Black Isle Studios, the people who made the first two Fallout games. So, in many ways, Obsidian is the studio who first came up with the idea of Fallout and arguably knows the franchise far better than Bethesda. My theory is that Obsidian, not Bethesda of course, will be making Fallout New Orleans and releasing it in 2017. First of all, consider this. Bethesda obtained the rights to another Fallout game after Fallout 4, which means Fallout 5 is probably coming out at some point. The thing is, Fallout 5 is likely not going to drop until the 2020s, and considering how busy Bethesda is with the Elder Scrolls 6 as well as Fallout 4 DLC, I'd say we could have to wait even more than 7 years to get Fallout 5. Which means, of course, Fallout fans are going to get restless once again. One of the main reasons why Fallout New Vegas happened is that Bethesda realized that Fallout 4 was going to take a long time to make, so to satisfy fans in the dry period between Fallout 3 and 4, they had Obsidian make New Vegas. It's also why the Elder Scrolls Online happened right after Skyrim, to keep Elder Scrolls fans satisfied while they waited for Elder Scrolls 6. If we had to wait until 2222, or perhaps even longer for Fallout 5 with literally no Fallout content whatsoever, then I think we can all agree it would be pretty upsetting. Over 7 years without a game in the series would be an unprecedented situation, even for Bethesda. So, in order to keep fans from getting upset, and to follow the same trend as with Fallout New Vegas and the Elder Scrolls Online, Bethesda has got to give us something Fallout related before Fallout 5 comes out. And the best way for Bethesda to go about this would be to have another studio make this Fallout game so as to not interfere with Elder Scrolls 6 development. Which supports the idea that Obsidian or maybe some other studio will be asked to develop another Fallout game. Next, I want to delve into a discussion of Bethesda's E3 conference schedule this year, since there is some evidence that they're going to reveal a new Fallout game at E3. So, in case you haven't heard yet, Bethesda has actually scheduled another conference at E3 this year, and as I explained in a previous video, which I'll link below by the way, they were actually very unsure about it just a few months back. Which means that they're probably coming back to E3 to announce something big. More specifically, Bethesda has an entire hour on stage at E3 2016, and the only big games they're scheduled to publish right now are Dishonored 2 and Doom. However, Doom is actually coming out right before E3, so they probably aren't going to be showing any of it at the conference. Meaning, all they really have to show at this point is Dishonored 2 and Fallout 4 DLC. Considering that Fallout 4 in its entirety only took around 30 minutes to show off last year, it's highly doubtful that Dishonored 2 will get more than 20 minutes or so, and there's no way Fallout 4 DLC will get more than 15 to 20 minutes. Which leaves around 20 to 25 minutes of extra time for Bethesda, and what could they possibly announce during this 20 to 25 minutes? Well, they could announce the Elder Scrolls 6, but I personally think it's unlikely since Fallout 4 only just came out, so Bethesda Game Studios hasn't had enough cooldown time since then. What I think is that the most reasonable option to fill that extra time is a Fallout game made by Obsidian. And if a new game is announced, the most reasonable release date would be 2017 after all the Fallout 4 DLC has already come out. Also, I want to quickly look to the past here and talk about the situation with Fallout 3 and New Vegas. Fallout New Vegas was announced the year after Fallout 3 released, towards the middle of the year in 2009, and then released in 2010. If a new Fallout game by Obsidian were announced in 2016, the very year after Fallout 4's release, and then released in 2017, it would follow the exact same pattern as with New Vegas. And while this certainly doesn't confirm anything, what it does do is it sets a precedent, and more often than not precedents are followed, at least when it comes to releasing games. So, between the odd move by Bethesda to schedule an E3 conference, them seemingly not having enough to show off at this conference, and past Bethesda behavior, I'd say that a new Fallout game by Obsidian is very possible. But for those of you who are still unconvinced, let me hit you with some slightly better evidence. First of all, consider this. In an interview from 2014, Josh Sawyer, the director for Fallout New Vegas, said, and I quote, "Nathaniel Chapman, who used to work at Obsidian, he thought New Orleans would be a really cool setting for a Fallout game, and I think that it'd be really cool as well." Even crazier, in December of 2015, Josh Sawyer Instagrammed the following picture, which instantly had Fallout fans going crazy over what they thought was Fallout New Orleans. Supposedly, Sawyer actually retracted the post on Twitter, but even then, when asked about what the picture was referring to, he never answered. So, we don't know 100% if it was Fallout related, but there were a few too many coincidences here for it not to be, if you ask me. As such, if a new Fallout game by Obsidian does end up happening, then in all likelihood it's going down in New Orleans. Finally, before ending things off, I want to address a few counter-arguments and give even more evidence in case you're still not convinced. A lot of people have said that Obsidian hates Bethesda, and for that reason they wouldn't want to make another Fallout game. Specifically, what I'm referring to is the fact that Bethesda guaranteed Obsidian a bonus if Fallout New Vegas matched or exceeded a Metacritic score of 85. Unfortunately, New Vegas fell short by just 1 point. Now, in most cases like this, the publisher would still pay Obsidian their bonus, but for whatever reason Bethesda absolutely refused to, which forced Obsidian to lay some people off. And that's why a lot of people think Obsidian hates Bethesda and as such wouldn't want to make another Fallout game for them. The thing is, Obsidian actually really doesn't seem to give a shit about it. Multiple times Obsidian has insisted that they still want to work on another Fallout game, as evidenced by the tweet response from Obsidian's lead designer that you guys are seeing on the screen right now. I would also like to mention that in this tweet, the fans' mention of New Orleans is entirely ignored. Perhaps Obsidian is hiding something, or more likely I'm just reading too much into this as always. Finally, another counter-argument to Fallout New Orleans is that there isn't enough time between now and 2017 to develop the entire game. But consider this, Bethesda gave Obsidian only 1 year to develop New Vegas, which means it's certainly not out of the question that they're able to make Fallout New Orleans in time for a 2017 release date. Guys, Obsidian is totally on board with the idea of Fallout New Orleans, and Bethesda is going to need someone to make a new Fallout game in order to keep fans satisfied in the dry period between Fallout 4 and Fallout 5. So what better choice is there than Obsidian, who basically created the original franchise, wants to do another game, and has experience with the exact same situation in Fallout New Vegas? In my eyes, there are just way too many coincidences for there not to be a Fallout New Orleans, if not in 2017, then at least at some point. Which is why I think we can expect an announcement for the game, hopefully in the near future. Well, alright folks, that is pretty much gonna do it for this video. As always, if you enjoyed, be sure to drop me a like down below and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already for more Fallout content in the future. Also, be sure to let me know your thoughts on Fallout New Orleans, both on if you think it should happen and whether you think it will happen. Otherwise, I hope you all have an awesome rest of your day, and I will see you in my next video.